tell them Black nation rise, wouldn't think of full time. So we stop being victimized, organize and centralize, set the shackles off your mind. Black nation rise, hold your head up with pride. Them no care about black lives, now the ship a capsize. Open up your eyes. Firstly, every African a queen and king. Know your past and you will know yourself with it. Black man not got our color and no sin. Never trade my roots, me proud of my skin. Sing I forget the old slave master Jim. Pan back with fasting and you know them now bring them from the plantation. Nowadays a prison. Hear the ancestors them singing African hymns. But we have to rise up in order to win. We have to see a floating sinkings and we can't sink. Call out the black leaders in our communities. We stand against injustice and stand for unity. And in action rise. Wouldn't think of full time. Do we stop being victimized, organize and centralize, let the shackles off your mind. Black nation rise, hold your head up with pride. Them no care about black lives, now the ship a capsize. Open up your eyes. Freedom must come with a cost. You can't know the future if you don't know the past. If you sight the fullness, if you don't know the half, them milk the mother cow and them won't kill the calf. Check the status, it's off the grid off the graph. Look how much blocky youths them kill off the Ross. Classism, racism, black brother them a ball. We have to fight all if we back against the wall like a bengy roll. Bengy roll. Go back to your roots and your window in yourselves. We did that with our friends, no one time to rebel. By the KKK, no black brothers, them hang them in the suburbs, we in a projects, yo, you know see the trend. In a 2020, yo, we still a go pretend like slave master and slave bikini. They my friend, like Black Panther. Take a stance, yeah, my friend can't play cover, rise up from lions den. Reaching out to the rude boys and all the ragamuffins. You will fall for anything if you not stand for something. Black nation rise, couldn't think of full time. Do we stop being victimized, organize and centralize, take the shackles off your mind. Black nation rise, hold your head up with pride. They no care about black lives, now the ship a capsize. Open up your eyes.
Good afternoon, Jamaica. A blessed afternoon, TikTok and YouTube. Today is a new direction that Midday Connection will be taking for a few weeks. I know Jamaica is happy for this, and from time to time, different persons, particularly from the opposition party, you guys want to talk to them, you guys want to have discussions with them, you will get a chance to do so over the next hour. And to start the series today, Jamaica, I have Mr. Raymond Pryce as my co-host. Mr. Pryce, I can't even say welcome to PDTV. I will say welcome to Midday Connections. You are muted. Yes, Jamaica. So, as I said, going forward on Midday Connection 2 to 3 times for the week, members of the opposition party, particularly your MP caretakers, will be here to talk about state of the constituencies, that they're representing, and equally you'll get the chance to call in and have a reasoning with them. Are you appreciative of that, Jamaica? Are you appreciative of that? So today we started off with no stranger to Partner Draw TV. You know, he's a little firecracker that when he speaks, a lot of people get angry or get upset. Raymond Pryce, how you do?
Not too bad. How are you doing, sir?
Why water more than flour? But well, we are hold on.
Right now, that could become, instead of land of wood and water, water more than flour could easily well be the new motto.
Things are really ration and things are very bad for so many people. What's the status of what is happening now, seeing that the court gave that order on Friday? What is happening now in East Central St. Catherine?
Well, a lot of people seem to have lost their mind. One particular person, first doing a video claiming that the parish get a green light. Well, the P-STEB and the traffic police need to monitor how he drives closely, because the light that he actually stopped at is a red light. And what the court gave was, in fact, a red light. And I want to just explain briefly to viewers and to your listeners. When the PNP took the matter to court, the court reviewed the documents that were submitted. And the court decided that the matter was so important that without any debate, without any case being heard, it was so important that an injunction was laid, right? Injunction was granted. And then the court, in granting the injunction, the government attorneys actually said they needed 3 months' time to come back to the court and prepare themselves. Sorry, 3 weeks' time, 3 weeks. And the court says, no, this matter is too important. Give you till next week.
Yes.
Say. So Wednesday gone, they came back, and among the documents they submitted was an affidavit from the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Local Government, which affidavit said that the ministry was not planning to implement the law. So all of a sudden, you rush through Parliament with a bill, debate it in the lower house, debate it in the upper house, get the poor governor general to sign it. But then all of a sudden, you never plan to do nothing with it. You just want to have it in your back pocket. So the court did not accept that. The court said you have some questions to answer.
Yes.
For example, the ECJ write to you why you did not respond to the ECJ. Then the argument was we were going to respond to the ECJ, but we just wanted the law to pass first. So the judge says, well, hear me now. You have to give your unequivocal undertaking that you will not try any Nicodemus move now, because this thing cannot go no further. It has to go to Section 67 of the Constitution, which outlines how it is that constituencies are changed, constituency boundaries. So the labor rights say, but it's not constituency we're talking about parish. Well, every one of the 63 constituencies in Jamaica fall into a parish. Now you're changing, according to you, Portmore into a parish. But you go to Parliament and you debate the boundaries. You say it going to go here so, then it going to turn to there so, then it going to go up, then it going to go across, then it going to go down, and then it going to come back across. So the bill itself had boundaries in there. And those boundaries cut right through two constituencies, South St. Catherine and East Central St. Catherine. And the Constitution says one constituency cannot be in more than one parish. So if you design a parish that have a boundary that chop a constituency, you're doing constituency boundary work. So the Chief Justice see through the scam. And the government had to give an unequivocal undertaking. In other words, brakes have to draw, stoplight. Don't move, don't pass, go straight to jail, don't collect $200.
2,000. Don't
collect a favor. So this is where we are. No, I don't know if anybody ever see a car drive fast and then the back tire blow out and the car have to stop and go up and jack. Well, that's what happened to Mr. Terry Long. And that's what happened to the JLP. They were attempting to break the Constitution by passing a law that was circumventing the Constitution.
Yes.
And what the court has shown is that the Constitution is the supreme law. And anything a parliament tries to do that doesn't follow what the Constitution requires, the court is there as the referee, as a judge, to decide, say, no, you are in breach. So that is where we are now.
So how are the people?
Go ahead.
How are the people around Lake Spain and all of those areas responding?
Very well, very, very well. As a matter of fact, not only the people in Lake Spain, but the people across the constituency, because persons were very clear in their minds. And to any of your viewers who live in Havendale, for example, if they live in Havendale, they consider themselves as being a part of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation. Everybody knows that Portmore is a large community made up of smaller communities in the parish of St. Catherine. And that heritage and that connection to St. Catherine was very important to them. They're also happy that the court has stepped in, because up until that point, they had a cloud over their heads about the cost to change their land titles and their driver's license, and to change their tax information, as well as to change their voter identification information. All of which the government now, the labor rights are now trying to say, oh, we never plan to go further. We just want to establish the parish. Then we were going to wait patiently until everything that was supposed to have been done before, including the consultation, will now be done. And then at a time in the future. I tell you how stupid it is. In the document submitted by the government's lawyers, they gave two examples. They say the Disabilities Act was passed over 10 years ago and was not implemented until recently, and that the Traffic Act was passed however many years ago and was not implemented until recently, giving the suggestion that even though the Parish Act was passed, they were not going to perhaps implement it for another 5 or 10 years. Ridiculous.
So that is how far they go.
That is how far they went. And them now trying with shame in their eye, trying to create a new lie by saying this was their plan all along.
So where we are now.
Yes.
Going into the elections.
Yes.
People in Lake Spain and those surrounding areas will be voting in East Central St. Catherine.
That is correct.
So you hear that, Jamaica? The 800 or probably 1,000 persons who the Jamaica Labour Party wanted to disenfranchise in that area of East Central St. Catherine, you remain in the constituency. And because you remain in the constituency, you'll be able to vote for either Mr. Pryce or someone else. Hold a second. People start call already. Hello, welcome to Midday. See them. I'm going to turn on the... Because we're not changing the format of Midday Connection. Raymond is my co-host. Somebody else will be my co-host another day. But what we are doing now, Jamaica, we want you to call and talk to us. We're not going to really hold up the show where it's a conversation with me and Mr. Pryce. For the people in Central St. Catherine or where you are, people in Portmore, anybody who wishes to call this program, now is the time for Reason with Raymond and Andre Stevens. You hear there? Now is the time. Now is
the power. Now is
No.
the time. Now is the hour. Vote PNP for people power. Turn up the thing.
Oh Lord, time come to turn up the thing. I see some of them on platform who no longer have relevance in a dance hall. And I'm going to deal with them tonight, students. I'm going to deal with them tonight. Lord, Miss Winnie, I call. Yes, my bonononos.
Hello, my putty grandson. How are you? And hello, Mr. Pryce. Now, do we have to talk about what you're talking about, or can we talk about something else?
You can't talk about anything, Miss Winnie, but remember to be on your best behavior, because we have guests over here.
Listen to me. I am a good girl, and I do behave myself. Right? Peter did behave himself, didn't he? All right. Now, listen. If what I'm seeing, what the Prime Minister did, go and pretend they give water, and then it was no water. To me, that man is trying to trick the people again.
Why, Miss Winnie?
I think something is wrong with him. He need to go in a war 21.
What you said?
He need to go in a war 21 because he's a damn fool. How can you trick the people? It's a good thing someone around in that area see what they were up to and watch them. Why you do that to the people? You say you can turn it up and turn it up and turn it up. But this time you get tricked. You get tricked, you fall in your own pit.
My God.
How can you say you're giving them water? And it's a river water, you pretend you give them. And then as you go, they go and turn it off. The people should have hold you and give you a good backside. Because you're wrong. You're wrong, Prime Minister. You're not a Prime Minister, you are a trickster. How can you do that to the poor innocent people? Anyway, I got to go. Someone bringing my chickens for me. I got to go. They come.
All right, Mama Winnie, go on through. Oh, this is Miss Winnie, one of our resident callers.
Yes.
Raymond, you want to address the whole water distribution that is happening around the island?
Yes, and let me start in East Central St. Catherine first, where over the last couple of weeks, residents have been sending photos of situations where they put something to catch water in the kitchen and they can actually see sediments in the water. We must remember that the National Water Commission is not only there to provide water, but to provide good quality water, free of sedimentation and properly sanitized or chlorinated so that it is fit for human consumption. And there are genuine concerns where that is concerned.
So more people having woes with the water coming out of the pipe.
Yes, and we had heard that there was going to be some interruption because of the latest pollution in the Rio Cobre, which led to yet another fish kill. So we have those lingering concerns. But I'll tell you what else. The National Water Commission is also responsible for sewage, for treatment of sewage. And yesterday, for example, residents of Hamilton Gardens in East Central St. Catherine woke up to a very foul odor. The NWC facility at Hamilton Gardens, it collects and does partial treatment of the sewage. And then the effluent treated, what's supposed to be treated water, is supposed to exit from the station and through a covered drain. Well, a couple of things. One, the water that is coming out is actually inclusive of raw sewage.
My
Two,
God.
the areas where the drain run under the Hamilton Garden playing field, there are 2 areas where the cover of the drain has collapsed. While I was there yesterday, residents came up and says children and adults have fallen in there. So this is not something that happened yesterday or the day before. It's been there for a while.
Yes.
While some people running up and down doing video about green light when they should have been doing their representation work. This is the result that people in Hamilton Gardens have to be dealing with. So I'm using this opportunity to call on the National Water Commission to send its technical team to the Hamilton Gardens pump in East Central St. Catherine and remedy the situation as quickly as is possible.
This is so so you say people talking about the sewage, the foul odor coming from the sewage.
Yes.
No, this is unbearable now.
And in addition to that, we have the problem where the drain has caved in 2 places, and you can see the exposed steel. You can see the plants growing in the drain, and you can also see the stagnant sewage that should have been flowing away. Everything is stagnant, backed up beside the section beside the Gregory Park post office that is completely overgrown with
the
bushes.
Post office that never make.
Well, the post office has been there for many, many years. What don't make is on the 8th of August 2020, my opponent uploaded a video on his social media. He has since removed the video, but we already had the screen recording. And on the 8th of August 2020, he opened what he called the blueprints. And he was saying that this is a blueprint to build a Gregory Park Resource Center, which should have been done behind the post office. Well, that was
it.
Well, no, I mean, unless it is
big.
No.
Oh God, Mr. Pryce, you're sure about that? You're not spreading propaganda?
Well, you can reach out to him and ask him to do one of his famous videos at the Gregory Park Resource Center that was built August 8, 2020.
So 5 years after nothing.
5 years. So it was August 2020, August 2021, August 2022, August 2023, August 2024. 5 Augusts ago. And still nothing.
No, this no sound right, Jamaica. We have a response for something like that this year.
Ball out! Whoa, yo. We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help. Shift the parliament.
Yes, Jamaica. We have to cry out. So sewage, absentee, there is a lady called Madam Miriam calling.
Yes.
Madam Miriam.
Good evening, my dear beloved professor and master chef. How are you doing?
I am good.
Good evening, Mr. Pryce, where the price is right at the right time for the People's National Party.
How are you doing, Madam Miriam?
I tell you, I am doing good. You know, I have to say, when it comes to the People's Nationality, I admire the level of intelligence that the younger generation can look forward to hearing. I applaud listening to your conversation because it's always professional and respectful. However, I saw a recent video where a mother is saying that her granddaughter or her niece and nephew got in an accident, and there was no CT scan was available or to even transport them for them to get the proper care that they need.
Yes.
And they're wondering, budget that is real and the whole debate. How is it that the people of Jamaica, because it is not affecting private jet from St. Mary Airport? My question is, why is it that Jamaica government can never seem to allocate any money, no money at all, for a proper health care facility that to care for people in dire need and dire situation? It has becoming too ongoing now where when people saying, oh, we're going to reach out to the Minister of Health, and the Minister of Health come and he tried to come with a conversation that doesn't make any sense. And when our people of Jamaica going to realize that this is not a color issue, this is a health issue and a serious problem.
Yeah. No,
you know, you get a stroke. Your survival rate for a stroke to know if you're going to be a vegetable or a good state is less than an hour. And here in Jamaica, you must wait for 2-3 weeks, months before you get a CT scan. None is available. None whatsoever.
In Spanish Town, what the experience is that you'll go to the Spanish Town hospital. They will tell you need a CT scan. And just as you saw in that video where the grandmother was walking and collecting as much money as she could get, persons have to go first and pay at the imaging center in the Oasis Plaza. And then they get the results and then they take it back to the hospital. The interesting thing is that if the person is already admitted to the Spanish Town Hospital and they decide they need to get the CT scan done, you as a relative cannot go and pick up your relative and take them. They have to be transported in an ambulance, which is hardly ever there. No, the Spanish Town Hospital, let me acknowledge the good work done by the hard-working doctors, nurses, and other medical professionals. But they are being betrayed by a government that does not provide the necessary resources for them to be able to use their talent and their skill and their qualification to help to heal and to save lives. Now, I saw earlier where the Auditor General says that this year they'll be conducting an audit starting with 2 hospitals, UWI Hospital and Cornwall Regional Hospital. I wish that they could have started at the Spanish Town Hospital, because many years ago, people in St. Catherine looked to Spanish Town Hospital as the place to go in case of an emergency to receive quality health care. That is no longer the case.
You know, Andre, I don't know if you know this, but who knows me on here will know. Andre, I've been sick with health issue ever since I was the age of 8 years old. And Ward 14 used to be where I would go to school. That was my life. Ward 14 at the University Hospital. Those days it was under Mr. Patterson. And Andre, I have never seen... Andre, let me tell you something. When I come to Jamaica on vacation, just for me to get this, I have to get blood work drawn every week when I'm in Jamaica. And it's very pricey and I have to get it done privately. Now, when I looked at it and I have other people in Jamaica that I talk to that take even blood thinner, Andre, it is so overly expensive for anybody to survive. And this is the worst I've ever seen Jamaican healthcare in all my life, Andre. This is the worst I've seen Jamaican healthcare system. And health is life. If you don't have health, you don't have anything, you know.
True.
Like, because you don't look sick today doesn't mean tomorrow is promised. And it doesn't only affect PNP. This affects PNP, labor right, the younger generation, independent. This affects everyone. We have to watch all of these things unfold. But yet still, the government can always allocate money now to patch road. I just see number 13 stand up say, oh, share pavement thanks to cement company. We do not need you to tell us that the cement company paved the way, the road with concrete, and and you have a little boy anytime telling you, oh, I'm driving past you. You don't use kids as proxy. We need to stop this, and it's about time parents and people stand up. And let me tell you this, Andre, I want that they need to do a town hall where people need to come and have a honest conversation. It's about time we stop taking the excuse from the Prime Minister of Jamaica. We're tired of your bullshit. Enough is enough.
Aye.
Enough is enough. You see how Abraham Share is standing up for his country and for his people as the youngest leader. Andrew is the youngest leader that ever lead Jamaica, and he's the worst man ever. I saw Jamaica on TikTok corruption with the Prime Minister of Jamaica and they're talking, and I said, I wonder how proud he feels knowing this. You get what I'm saying? Enough is enough. Our kids are suffering. Kids are dying in hospital from asthma. It's enough. Mother cannot come home with them child. Grandmother have to take them child, look on the child and still bury the mother.
My
You
God.
understand? Enough is enough. When you look, if the police come and them can't just talk to you, all these youth need is love. But instead you give them a bullet, and yet still you keep the body till they decompose because people cannot afford to bury them. If I cannot find food to give to my children, what make you think, Mr. Prime Minister, that I will be able to give them a funeral?
But all of those people that the police kill, the parents must demand that the government bury them. All right? But me have to go take another call, Miriam. I have to take another call. Hello, good day. Welcome to Midday Connection.
Hello, good day, Mr. Stevenson and Mr. Pryce.
Yes, sir. Welcome.
Afternoon.
My question is that it is clear that the government is trying to spread confusion, especially when it comes on to how the boundaries have been gerrymandered and how it affects the field of Portmore. It looks like what they're trying to achieve is that confusion up until the election. The person might not know how they are to vote.
So you think that the government is purposely confusing the public?
Purposely confusing the public. So my question is how the PNP will ensure that the right will be passed on until that time comes.
Well, that is why Mr. Pryce is over here on a Midday Connection, making sure the world is aware, Portmore residents are aware, the entire Jamaica is aware that the present electoral boundaries for East Central St. Catherine that were existing for the last or the previous election is the same that will go forward for this election. All right? So you have to just take the information here and share it with the people.
There's two more questions. They're going to be short as well. How does that affect the mayoral position of the mayor?
It doesn't affect the mayor because, as I said to you, my friend, the government, they've got an undertaking that they cannot proceed.
Right.
So because they cannot proceed, it doesn't affect the mayor and it doesn't affect the constituencies. So St. Catherine remains the same St. Catherine. So you now have Portmore as a parish and Kingston and St. Catherine as a parish. There's going to be one parish, and the one parish is going to be called St. Catherine.
Right.
Thank you for clearing up that. And the last thing, I was listening to the senators speaking, and I heard one advocacy recently allow to just share his opinions as if all of it is fact. So I'm wondering what the government is going to do to ensure that those noises are being cancelled.
The government, no, we don't cancel the government. We don't cancel the government. The people will cancel the government. All right? You, the people will cancel. I'm going to say this to you. If I speak about Apka Fitz-Henley, I'm going to get attention. I'm not giving Apka Fitz-Henley that attention, my friend. So nobody not even hear what Apka Fitz-Henley really said in the Senate last week. You hear? So you nobody get no get no talk, no get no fresh air, no get nothing. Just get a blatant ignore, all right?
Right, thank you. Giving up the good work and Raymond Pryce, you know that this one
All right, my friend.
Thank you very much, sir.
After fixing Jamaica is of no moment. No moment. So only nobody give him no relevance. Mm-hmm. Anybody, people else, other people calling? Come on, Jamaica, make us utilize the 1 hour over here. Let us utilize the 1 hour call time over here, okay? Let us see. We have how much people? Almost 3,500. Hello, good day. Welcome to Midday Connection. Yes. Not hearing you. I'm not hearing you on this phone. I don't know what happened to. Wanna call me on the 995 number. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, Andrew, bless up, Pryce.
Yes.
Sure.
Andrew, you know, you say, if me was doctor and nurse, you say all of Andrew, all his colleagues and all of them, you see when them come to hospital, all them say come to hospital, you know what me that do? The doctor and the nurse and all of them come together, throw down piece of cardboard on the ground, and make them go down the go lay down and see how it feel.
What you said?
If you that throw piece of cardboard and ground, and make them go down the go lay down and see how it feel and see how poor people are going through. That me that do. If me was doctor and nurse, and that me that do. Two piece of cardboard, no bed no dead. Anytime they come, no bed no dead. All when the bed dead, me put it out that door and tell them so no bed no dead. Show the cardboard and make them go lay down on it. That are my 2 cents. That are my 2 cents, my boss.
All right, my boss. Mr. Pryce, any word on that one?
Well, you know, I tell you something. We've had situations where persons serving in the constabulary, injured in the line of duty, end up at the Spanish Town Hospital. I'm sticking to Spanish Town. I'm staying in my lane. I'm staying in my parish. And they too have to, if they need any imaging services, they too have to join the line. They have to be taken up to the nearest one, which is the one in Oasis Plaza, and then brought back. If they need any pins, if they had suffered a broken bone, any medication, relatives have to go and get it out on the regular pharmacies, because the days of the hospital having the medication seems to be behind us. So if we go to the call from the last call and the one before, the public health sector needs a hospital as well. If the public health sector was a patient,
yes,
that patient would need to be in ICU. And the problem is we don't have enough ICU capacity in Jamaica. I'm not sure right now if any of the public hospitals are operating at full capacity in terms of, you know, let us say there are 10 basic services that every public hospital should be able to provide. I'm not sure how many of the public hospitals are able to do it. So you might find that a patient is being moved from hospital A to hospital B just to relocate the issue, just to relocate the emergency rather than to deal with the emergency. And that's why I made mention of the plan by the Auditor General to begin to do the audits for UWI Hospital and Cornwall Regional Hospital. But the situation is so frightening that, you know, we don't know how quickly that will be concluded. And I have no confidence that this current administration can deal with it.
Probably you will get that audit report when you're in government.
Right. The Auditor General is embarking on audits in the public health sector under the theme ensuring value for money in public procurement. This was reported on by the Jamaica Gleaner on the 28th of March this year. The very the very theme of her audits suggests already that we know we are not getting value for money. I mean, I forget how many years now should Cornwall Regional Hospital have been completed?
Almost 9.
Almost 9, and $20 billion later.
Almost 30 billion.
It could not have cost as much if they had gone to an open field and decided to build a brand new hospital from scratch.
Hold on, let me take this call. Hello, good afternoon, caller. Why am I not hearing you people? Are you hearing him, Raymond?
Hardly. I can hardly hear him.
Call me on the next number. Call me on the next number. I don't know what is happening. From what they hear now, this phone in the midday and the night time. Yeah, hello.
Oh, hello, Andre. Good afternoon.
Yes, my friend.
Yes, Mr. Pryce, I would like to know who's the owner of this Oasis medical facility.
I don't know.
You see, that's need to raise concern. I think that needs to raise concern. Where Spanish Owned Hospital is concerned. To be honest, because if in the public hospital you cannot get the necessary service that you need, and then you're going to a private entity to get it. There's some conflict of interest. There have to be some conflict of interest.
Oh, so you say probably if we find out who own it.
Who owns this Oasis medical facility? You will find out why it is. When you go to Spanish Owned Hospital, you cannot get any service.
Didn't even look at it that way.
All right, yeah.
All right, my friend. Something worth undertaking.
Yeah.
But if you're doing that, you would have to do for the other parishes to see who own the diagnostic centers in the parishes. Because they're not just Spanish Town. Right across Jamaica, people have to go diagnostic centers to get it. Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Andre.
Good afternoon, my friend.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pryce.
Afternoon.
I just want to ask a question. Do you agree that the government will have more money than at their disposal more than any private institution?
Yes.
So why is it this government you go to the hospital and they can't find a machine, but you can go to a private institution and the machine is there working good?
Very good question. Very good question. That's an excellent question.
Well, you know the reason for that.
Corruption and thief money. So then,
cronyism.
Yeah, because you go to the hospital and they don't have the machine, and you go next door and the machine is there working good. I have to pay one big money and then come back at the hospital.
And on average, how much for these things? 60, 70, 80,000?
Prices vary, but they're extremely expensive.
You can't get it at the hospital. You go next door, it work good. You pay a bag of money and come back at the hospital.
All right, thank you. Thank you too for that great observation, my friend.
All right.
Students, you have some senators who just have a few months catch up in the Senate. Stop giving them relevance over here. Yeah, he's surely obsessed with me. But I am not a short Indian woman. Yes, hello.
And good afternoon. Blessings, Professor Mr. Pryce. My story is that for many years the doctors in Jamaica has been in the scopes with the prominent people, not the opposition people. The doctors they sabotage the public health system, and then they have been forming all these groups where they can provide the services that are needed
But it's not the doctors are sabotage. I know the doctors are sabotage, darling. It couldn't be the doctors are sabotage. Because no. Is the wrong word you use there, so. You can't say the doctors are sabotage when it is a government that is to provide those diagnostic and diagnostic tests and equipments in our hospitals. So if it
you're saying one thing, but I haven't finished.
Yeah, but you can't say sabotage.
It's not all the doctors. It doesn't matter which word I use right now. But if they finish the statement saying that they are in cahoots with it, where they provide the service at a high price, and then the doctors then the government, the plus government, get the kickback. Not every doctor does it because there are doctors who would give everything for somebody who had a stroke to get a CT scan. But then there are doctors who are in groups that see the money and this is what they're going for. So it makes no sense.
And Miss Sandra, here is my argument. And I'm sure Raymond would agree with me. When a government fails to provide the services that are needed in the hospitals
and to maintain the equipment,
if those are not maintained, if those are not sorted, what you're going to find? Everybody in Jamaica hustle.
That's why we said, who them go to? Them now go to a painter. Them have to go to some doctors to do it. Because for these oasis thing, when they have to be doctors just the same way like the federal home. It's the same system, it's just for a different entity. So therefore, when the government, they make sure say the AC system down and it's full of mold, then you go over to the nice hospital suite and you pay $10,000 more or maybe $100,000 more than you would pay if you went to get some public. So it's a whole connection of people working together.
All right. Thank you for your contribution. You hear? Thank you. Hello. Good afternoon.
Andre, teacher.
Yes, quickly, my brother. Quickly.
Yeah, one question I would like to ask. Have you ever tried to run an investigation to find out who owns some of those diagnostic centers?
Somebody called and asked the said question already. We'll have to go and do the investigations.
Right.
All right. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Is that
yes, sir.
Christian?
Yeah.
Hello, good afternoon. Boy, Raymond, this is a midday connection. Everybody want to talk to Raymond. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Hey, Mr. Pryce, good afternoon to you.
Afternoon.
Mr. Pryce, can
Yes,
you
sir.
tell me what was the thinking behind subsidizing going outside to do CT scan and MRI when we could have paid for a machine, and if St. Kitts is charging $12, we could have charged people even $1,000 or $1,500 just to maintain the machine and buy machines replace machines in the long run. And why is it we keep allocating money towards trucking?
Mm-hmm. So that's your that is, you would have to ask Christoph then why him. I don't think Mr. Pryce would be in the position.
Yeah. But you see, one of the things I can say though is that the cost to the patient, there's no subsidy. When you have to leave Spanish Town Hospital to go to an imaging center in the private sector, you have to pay the full amount of money. You know, it let me tell you, in my humble opinion, and this is why I'm looking forward to this report from the Auditor General, because it's not just about how many beds. There has to be a science to it. How many beds in which theater? What type of patient goes to that theater? What's the average convalescence time after they've received certain services? How long is that patient on the bed? How many meals of a certain type should the patient get? And then, are we allocating enough money? I mean, this prime minister finds money for gimmicks. For example, Solidarity 2.0. Could that money be better spent, invested in the public health sector at Spanish Town Hospital to do the necessary upgrades and the necessary maintenance on the equipment? The Prime Minister, I saw on a clip on JIS, where he's talking about, in a very important year, he provided a stable budget. He didn't provide a run with it budget. But when you listen to his presentation, it's not run with it, it's run from it. We should be running from him and his budget, because this $1 billion for the Solidarity Program, which is not linked to any specific ministry, department, or agency, just a wagga give away money to buy votes. When you look on all of the other election years since February 25, 2016, the almost $1 billion bushing ahead of the 2016 local government election. You talk about a cash give back. That's not a cash give back in terms of taxes. That is a prime minister prioritizing, trying to make somebody feel good rather than prioritizing investing in the hospitals, investing in the clinics, invested in the early childhood institutions, so that we as citizens can get better value for our tax dollars. So there, tricks in trade and matches boxes in business is how the expression goes. And I think Jamaica is waking up to the tricks. I know Mason Hall woke up to the trick the other day.
Yes, that's it, Mary.
Yes, and I think all of Jamaica is waking up to the tricks. You can get away with fooling people for just a certain amount of time, and I think it's not just so much that time come, but time run out for them.
Let me take this other call. Welcome, caller. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Andre. Good afternoon, Raymond Pryce.
Lord, Mr. Marsh.
Yes, I don't call out my name, man. I don't know my name, Lord God, man. But let me tell you something, Andre.
Short and spicy, Marshy.
When you get people like Raymond Pryce to their program, you have to extend the program.
What you said?
When you get people like Raymond Pryce on the program, you have to extend the program.
It depending, because Mr. Pryce have some work to do with Julian. So if it is that Mr. Pryce can accommodate, but
in Muscangi, another 30 minutes. Mr. Pryce, you have to do it, Mr. Pryce, because we love hear these voices on the program. No, we can't solve one of the problems, the hospital problem. You know why the hospital don't have some of the equipment in the hospital right now?
Tell me, Marshy.
Climate change.
Hey! What you say, Marshy?
Climate change.
Climate change, why them not have the equipment in the hospital?
Remember, the climate change mash up road, Remember, I mean, I talk about the coastline where when the sea come back to them place, They talk about climate change. You realize the road that they build in St. Thomas, where the Prime Minister runs up cut ribbon and open. That much climate change mash up that too.
Hey!
Right? So these are some of the damn nonsense that this Andrew Wellness government really walk around and tell people. Now, one of the things we may talk about now, I really this Andrew Wellness government and Malawi Ford, these are the people who framing constitution.
Yeah, why you ask that? Remember say, why you ask though?
Well, all right, Raymond Pryce, he knows more than me, so he can't answer this. Tell me, Raymond Pryce, tell me one at a time, when the PSP and the JLP have a constitutional problem, it go court and the JLP come out the winner. Tell me quick.
That Marshy?
It has never happened.
When any constitutional matter come up between the PSP and the JLP and it go to the court and the JLP win.
Not one. Them never win pan needs. Them never win pan state of emergency. Them never win pan the Portmore matter now. What else? Several other issues.
Several
other issues.
As a matter of fact, I think somebody at the Norman Manley Law School should do the study. I don't think any other government has ever seen so many failed cases brought to court by their attorney general. And the record that was started by Malahoo Fort, apparently McCoy has decided that he'll be faithful to the record of underperformance.
My God. And that these people have a frame constitution for the future. These are the people who we are going to frame the constitution.
May I say something, Carla? May I say something, Mr. Stevens? One of the most important reasons for Jamaicans to become informed, and they have another 3 or so hours, little less than 3 hours, if they are not yet registered to vote, to go to an EOJ office in their constituency and get on the list and vote. Mm-hmm. If this administration continues after the next general election, mm-hmm. they will have the time and the ability to change the constitution. When you hear Desmond McKenzie say he will not surrender Jamaica to the PNP, well, it's not surrender to the PNP. It is surrender to the will of the people. And this is what the Holness administration is allergic to. They're allergic to well-informed citizens participating in elections. The proposals that Malahoo Fort has come forward with for a new constitution, the Republic Constitution, would see the Prime Minister selecting a president and then that president being able to appoint as many as 5 senators. No, as the Constitution stands now, there are 21 senators in the upper house, 13 on the government benches and 8 on the opposition benches. 13 years. Right. But they don't look on the 8, because 13 bigger than 8. But the framers of the Constitution went a step further. They decided that on serious matters that are deeply embedded in the Constitution, a law cannot be changed unless at least one person from the opposition side votes with the government. So you have to have a 2/3, right? So for you to have 2/3 out of 21, 14 must vote for the bill.
Yes.
And when you see this group of despots headed by Andrew Holness and Malahoo Fort and the Minister of Justice, which is the only Minister of Justice where an Observer front page screamed, "Chuck off." Right? You can find it, it is there, chuck off. If these people are allowed to change our constitution, then the quality of life, the quality of freedom, and the quality of the democracy that we have enjoyed since 1962 will go down the drains under the administration.
Well, just before I go, because somebody else like Wanka, you believe, tell me the truth, what you and Andre, Mr. Pryce, Desmond McKenzie can read?
I wouldn't be able to answer that question.
You would have to get a teacher to run a diagnostics on you.
Desmond McKenzie is a minister of government, and when agents like the DOJ wrote a letter to him, I believe if him can read, he would read that letter and answer those people or person, You know they write to him.
Well, Marshall, allow the conversation this so. Let me go take another call. You're not putting in a trouble today.
I think answer, but let me go. I don't believe he can read. If he could read, he would answer that letter.
Go on and walk good, Marshall, later.
Take care. Pick up yourself, Raymond.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon to you, Andre. How are you? Good afternoon, Mr. Pryce.
Afternoon.
I love how you always, articulate the sentences, the enthusiasm for what you're saying. Everything is so good about when you speak. But, I just called to shed some light on the owners of the facility. I have done a little research, but Andre, I wanted to go deep in this because something is going on in this. It says that Oasis Company is a part of Al Moran Holding Group, owned by members of the Bin Mahfouz family. So you should know who the Mahfouz is. The Mahfouz family, they are the owners. It's a cooperating company. So I believe that, Andre, you should do some research on it. And Raymond, I think you should also, because this part of it gets interesting to me. I am listening. Have a blessed day, you guys.
All right there. I call her. You want me go dig up? No, why do I always want PD dig up Ann Smith? Lord Jesus, the class president a call students. Jamaica, the class president a call. Good afternoon, class president.
Yes, good afternoon.
Hey.
At the MP candidates presentation a week ago in West St. Thomas, the PNP highlighted that a lot of young men were killed at the instruction of one man in order to hold on to power. Now, when the PNP wins the election, will the prosecution make a public appeal for all the mothers who have lost their sons to such brutal political maneuverings? That would be a necessary exercise to bring justice to the people of West St. Thomas. That's my point.
May I say something? We don't even have to wait until that. And to anybody, let me say carefully what I'm about to say. I am aware of situations where there was a fatal killing by the police. And when the autopsy results came, the results revealed that the deceased was shot in the back at close range while lying face down on the ground. That happened a few years ago. The parents were told they could go the route of iProbe and they could go the route of Indicom.
Yes.
The problem is that unless people are willing to give sworn statements and stay the process, there is very little that can be done. No. Let me make it clear. When the state trains a group of its citizens as police officers and as members of the JDF, we as citizens who are not members of the JSF or the JDF have a duty. Well, we have an original duty to follow the law.
Yes.
And we also have a duty to respect the police. And I believe that the majority of men and women in the military and the constabulary are decent, professional citizens of Jamaica serving their country in uniform. And I have many relatives who have served and who still serve, and I'm sure others who will serve.
Yes.
My family happens to be the family that gave Jamaica Basil Robinson, the first Jamaican-born commissioner of police that moved from the ranks of constable all the way through to commissioner. So I grew up in a household where respect for the police is automatic. However, when you have a situation like happened on Windward Road,
where the police,
where if it was not for this, yes, where we can put it this way, where members of the constabulary had to be arrested because surveillance footage suggested that they acted in an unlawful manner. When you have situations where police officers are still being tried in the Mario Dean case.
How much years is that now?
That's at least 11 years now. Right? What those incidents do is break the trust and confidence that the citizens have in the police and the soldiers. And I go one step further. When you can have a police officer look on a citizen and say, "Judge never get no work tonight, appear dopey left on the ground." And you remember that you have a head of government that says they can face the judge or face their maker. These situations don't lift up the police force. This situation actually makes it difficult for the good, professional, hardworking police officers to do their work successfully, because every Jamaican citizen appreciates the uniform, because some people that wear the uniform bring shame and disgrace to the uniform. And that is the real challenge we have in this country at this time.
But you know, as you said that, Raymond, I find it surprising that after almost 9 years, the Minister of Security is now saying that social intervention is the way now to solve crime.
Oh boy. I don't even know how to respond to that. I guess we should be grateful that him finally see the light, because remember, his boss said that if you vote for him, you can sleep with your windows and your doors open.
Let me take another call. Hello, caller. Welcome to Midday Connection.
Hi, teacher. Good afternoon. MP to be.
Yes.
Teacher, I want to put my little part to this health thing. I am telling you, I did an operation up by university late last year, not even 6 months yet. I had also purchased the things to use on me at medical technology.
Yes.
So 1.2, some little over that.
1.2 million.
And the hospital bill was
512,000.
Right, 1,000, I mean, yes. Well, my insurance fee a little part. I paid 34,000 out of my pocket. No, the 30 don't work, none at all. I'm having the same problem. You know what happened now? They send me back at the same place, medical technology, to purchase some more things from my pocket again that I don't even know to start. And this time it is 600,000. Some cents. 600,000 and some cents.
So you say all the way you buy for the 1 million, they might tell you say
1.2, almost 1.3, yes.
My God.
All right.
So they must say if you go back now, if you go buy another 600,000 what I
get it. It's God we have to work out this for me now, Andre. Me don't even thinking about it. And you know what happened? I'll bill the one that I pay for 34,000 something from my pocket. It is now $51,000 from my pocket.
My God.
Not 6 months yet, you know. Not 6 months that I did the surgery in October.
You see, the problem we have, you see, Andre.
The hospital fee. Because if I had was to pay 30 something from my pocket, I know it is 51 from my pocket. I went to the assessment for them to tell me how much it is. 51 from my pocket, which I don't even sure if the insurance is going to cover any. I don't know as yet because I need to go back. I couldn't wait. I was so frustrated. I tell him I'll come back.
All right. Whole straight.
You know.
You need to check out who won that place too.
All right, Miss D.
You're getting a lot of homework today, Mr. Stevens.
Plenty more.
Okay.
You know, one of the things I want to point out before I go, because as you indicated,
all right, darling.
As you indicated to your audience, I have an engagement which starts in another just over half an hour from now. And some of the persons are texting me to say they're already at the location. Now, let me just say a few things. When we hear about macroeconomic stability, I respect math and I respect and understand statistics. But statistics must not be thrown like weapons on the masses of the people.
True.
Don't tell me how crime by how much percent crime has gone down when my child's mother was brutally murdered or my child on his way to school was brutally murdered. Because the only crime I'm aware of is a crime that affects me closely. So depending on the degree of separation, I don't want to hear your news because my reality is different. Don't tell me that our economy is the most resilient it has been since independence. If you have not stood in a supermarket and seen the shame on a mother's face when she gets to the cash register and with only half of the things,
quarter the things,
or if with only quarter the things already cashed, she starts to count through the money and then say, all right, cashier, but let me put this, because depending on what the cashier scanned first, the mother might have to let them refund that. If you have not seen the look on somebody's face when the cashier ball out, assistance, refund, mother with her children standing, looking around as to why is mommy putting back the things that we need to take home. Don't tell me about the most resilient economy since independence. Some of the people who throw these numbers around, the only time they have heard their child complain when it comes time for dinner, is if the child said, that's not what I want for dinner today. They have not heard from the mother and the father whose child says, mommy, we're not getting any dinner today. Is a very different Jamaica that says, mommy, we're not getting no dinner today, than the Jamaica that says, mommy, I don't want to eat that today. Don't talk to me, Favor Williams, about the good old days when your mother sold bread pudding and cornmeal pudding and potato pudding at Ty Dixon Primary School gate. So you wear a batter. Don't tell me, Favor Williams, about 1 cocoa full basket when for 110 months you have been a part of a government. Many of those months as Minister of Education, when the average Jamaican child is still being properly educated.
Wow.
And it's not for want of money. So if you have built the most resilient economy since independence, why is that economy unable to feed its children, unable to educate its children, and unable to give public health services to its children?
And water.
And let me tell you something about these people in their blue suits and green ties. We are waiting on you at the polling station with our ballots. And before I go, let me say to such man in East Central St. Catherine, parish or parish not, with we ballot. Because 110 months, $3 billion allocated to East Central St. Catherine. When you go through Hansard and you look on Spark and Reach and Pivot and Bushing and Road Patching and all of the allocations since March 2016, $3 billion, 110 months. Not one school built, not one homework center built, Nothing done to the Gregory Park Clinic as promised. The resource center, I've sent your producer the video when Mr. Terry Long was opening out the blueprints. Right? And nothing built. We in East Central St. Catherine and we in the wider Jamaica, we don't care about your statistics. We don't care about your gimmicks. We don't care about your scams. We are prepared. Our brains are engaged. And on election day, we will give you the final verdict. You stand up in Parliament talking about who is Watley's father and what the DNA say. Well, better no say. The only certificate that is going to matter will be the certificate at the end of the polls, where a majority of constituencies would have voted for PNP candidates, and we will begin to rebuild Jamaica, not for the elites who own lagoons, but for that child's mother or father who has been struggling, who don't fit into your statistics, who you have beaten with the statistics as if it was the whip of the ancestral and colonial heritage that we are still trying to get rid of in this country.
My God.
That's my few cents for today. I'm very happy to have joined you. I wish you well on this new format of having candidates with you for the lunchtime connection, the midday connection. And I am sure that at least one of the senators who love to troll people's pages was watching today. And that senator has become very skilled in fabricating misinformation. It won't work this time. It will not work this time. Right? This time around, Jamaicans will collectively say, we want progress. We want development. We want integrity. We want truth and honesty in government. And we want a fair Jamaica that gives equal attention to all of its citizens. And time come now. We're just waiting on the date, and we will be there to send them packing.
All right, Raymond. Let me take this final call. Even if you have to go, let me know. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, teacher. Good afternoon, Sir Pryce.
Afternoon.
My friend.
One thing I want to say, I see the other day when such man, the renter check come out and he was saying that's a win for the government, and he was explaining and saying, when I hear him was talking, I said, what, you don't know if PNP losing it, because if the judge had issue a stop order, like a stop order, for them not to go any further, or him come out and I say them win the case and it's a win for the government and spreading this propaganda. I mean, these people are daring and lie. Them coming in your face and until I'll play it and lie, make you think it's true. Them telling.
Alright, you know what you need to do? You know what you going to need to do? What you have your voter ID?
Long time, man.
So election day, what you going to do when the polling station do? You must be the first one in the line.
Really beside the head. Extremely beside the head.
Squarely beside the head.
Nowhere else it can go.
Is which constituency you're in?
I'm in Jackson constituency.
Oh Lord, mash them up over there, my friend. Mash them up over there. All right?
All right.
God bless you. Jamaica, we have to make Mr. Pryce run.
Thank you.
We have to make Mr. Pryce run today. We have to make Mr. Pryce run. I hope you all enjoyed Midday Connection. I will stay for another 10 minutes. Hello, good day.
Good afternoon, Andrew. Good afternoon, good afternoon.
Yes, there.
Yes, I'm calling Andrew. The last time I spoke to you about the garbage collection in St. Elizabeth Burnt Ground.
Yes, there.
Yeah, man. And, you know, from that time on, I don't know they haven't collected anymore here.
So,
in Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth.
Lady, and about 3 months that you call about the garbage.
Yes. Yes.
So 3 months now, no garbage, no collect a burn, St. Elizabeth?
No garbage,
Lady
no garbage.
So what you do? What you do?
Some of it we burn it, Andre, but not everything can burn, and everybody up here, I'm still to burn anything.
Where you say, which part you say the garbage number? Lord Jesus.
Burnt ground.
Burnt ground. Okay, but about 3 months that?
Yes, that was the last time that they came here.
All right, thank you for that information.
Okay.
Call you, why you MP?
Slowly, Mr. Slowly.
So call slowly because him have garbage truck with him name pan it. Call,
yes, Mr. All right.
Call slowly because him have garbage truck with him name pan it.
Yes, yes. I see it.
All right, my dear. You're there, the woman said 3 months now and she not get no garbage. But I hope you all enjoyed the program for the midday show. And I won't have a guest tomorrow. Tomorrow we do our freestyle and things like that on Midday Connection. But it was a pleasure having Raymond Pryce today. I'll have somebody else on Wednesday. I'm not giving out that information until tomorrow night. All right? But it's a pleasure having you all here today, Jamaica. And thanks again to Raymond Pryce. And thanks to the viewers who made this Midday Connection a very good one. My name is Andre Stevens, and this was PD. See, people still are calling you. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, Andre, good afternoon.
Yes, you have to hurry, friend.
Yeah, man, me there I watch your program and search Mr. Pryce gone already, but I want link, man,
All right, my friend. God bless you.
Big up Mr. Isaac CMA,
All right, my brother.
Can we see you represent one night our friend Candlelight, friend wife Candlelight,
Oh, in come you can't the friend Candlelight.
Yeah, I watch I know, them people that went coming, I labor right them, come here, bring them in, I think, Andre.
Oh, so labor right Candlelight, Isaac come.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure, say the next woman, she never come.
What I know, Mr. Two and I labor right virgin self. Oh, if your MP no there, so. Oh, your MP no there, so. They must say soon come, they must say soon come. I know Andre no turn up, none at all, they not turn up.
So you say all no and Mariva's not turn up?
No turn up, none at all, when the man wife dead, none of them people no turn up, none of them.
Well, I hope them remember ISAT when the time come.
I tell you, man, everybody's at good thing, man, I represent himself, I represent the people, them.
All right, now, but I talk with Spartan come now for their run, come up there. No, but I talk on the program I wish Spartan a Portland income. I know them will run, come up there. All right, my friend.
All right, my brother, man, I respect.
All right, God bless you.
Yeah, man.
All right, Jamaica, it was a pleasure having you all here today. And I will see you back tonight at 8 o'clock on PDTV News, Jamaica. Walk good and stay blessed. Bye now. Bye, TikTok.